we always do have a stock of the day. And frankly, it's pretty tough to go past Magellan Financial Group today. Market watchers will know it has not been the best time for the company of late. Down about 50% from their highs through to the end of last week. Today, dropping close to another 30%. Some news out this morning that UK wealth manager St James Place has terminated its mandate. That's going to hack off about 12% of their annual revenues. Geez, gents, what do we make of this? Mathan, I'll start with you.
Oh, this is going to be fun. Let me start with, I guess where we were looking at it on the multiples, around middle of last year, Magellan was trading at peak premium. People were excited, you know, Hamish was out there, and he's smart. He's very smart. But there was a capacity restraint for the fund. They were doing really well. There was a lot of inflows, and it started to turn. And that was a sign. When things are going great and everyone's pricing in like it's going to continue forever, when the dynamic changes, you've got to be scared. The first downgrade was pretty much at middle of last year, and we went from there. We got out of the stock. That was a sell for us. And since then, the numbers haven't improved. It's been on the decline. They are doing a unique model. They're doing pieces that are unique, putting together in a tough market. There's a lot of market manipulation. I mean, these guys are really good when markets are normal. This is not a normal market. It's really tough, and they're a global play. They work, you know, they benefited a lot from what's happened in the US. So it's going to be really tough for them when things are normalizing. The fact that they didn't get the massive outperformance through the bounce up, which a lot of people did. I mean, they got it for the wrong reason, but they got it. And so for Magellan, it's going to get tougher. So in the short term, I think with what's happening and the media beat up, it's going to be tough for them. And the upgrade cycle hasn't started. So for me, and I've been warning for a while that this is in a downgrade cycle. It had a multi-year upgrade cycle. Now it's in a multi-year downgrade cycle. No need to jump in and try and pick the bottom. Wait for the first turn. They are good managers. When things normalize, people panic. And when a stock is in a downgrade, this will get more people getting out. Remember, the shorters in the last 2 months went from about 2.5% to 4.5%. So the insiders knew there's more bad news to come. So that gives you a flag of what's playing out. So at this point, I'm not trying to pick the bottom, but look, they know what they're doing. When the market normalizes, this is a stock that I want to get into, but not right now.
Gaurav, what do you make of it? Are you one to try and pick bottoms? Is there value around these levels, or is it better to wait, as Mathan says?
Yeah, this has become an unlikely battleground stock. And I say unlikely because here's a business that has $200 million in net cash, is stunningly profitable on every metric, has grown its business from nothing to over $100 billion of FUM, has the best distribution network in the industry, and has built relationships, trust, and a brand. So it's got everything going for it, and yet somehow this has become the stock that we are now arguing about. It's the battleground stock where it has its supporters and it has some really loud and if I may say so, Mathan, obnoxious naysayers as well. But for me, so I own Magellan. It's been a buy for Intelligent Investor, and we own a little bit in the funds as well. So this is it's a company that hasn't worked out for us so far. But I go back to the original investment case, and that was that this is a company that's not just a fund manager. And I think there's a narrative mismatch about what's happening at Magellan and what people think are happening at Magellan. Yes, it's built out a big global fund manager, but there's actually a lot more happening. Hamish Douglas is not trying to create a fund manager. He's trying to create another Berkshire. He's got an income product. He's got an infrastructure product. He's got a private equity firm. He's got an investment bank, all tumbled into this one group where earnings are currently dominated by the fund business. They're actually growing in all those other spheres as well. The domestic fund business, the infrastructure business. I think the private equity business has some really good assets in there, recorded at cost, but I think worth far more than they were a couple of years ago. There's lots of interesting things happening here, and the funds business is not traveling so well at the moment. So we know there's been a big redemption. superficially, the market's reaction to the redemption appears absurdly negative. But here's the thing, right? The market's actually making a bet. It's laying down the probability that more money is going to follow St. James. And so far, the market's been correct about the probabilities. I've been wrong about those probabilities. So it could continue to play out that way. We're continuing to hold. I'm continuing to hold my stock. I would say it is dangerous to buy when a stock falls 30% in a day, because the market's really giving you a signal there. And I think you ignore those signals at your peril unless you're very, very confident about something. And so I would hold back to a hold. But I don't think this is over for Magellan. Look, this is controversial, but in my mind, working in a funds management business and a research business and being involved in this industry for a while, it's clear to me that performance matters, but it matters a lot less than you think it does in growing that business. We've outperformed Magellan for years and years. I've outperformed Magellan for years and years. There's no way we could raise the money Magellan has. There's no way we could match Magellan in any of its capacities. And that's true for almost every fund manager. So there's still a really good business here. It's just going through a bit of a battle at the moment, the way every good business does. I think there's plenty here to hold.
Yeah, some fascinating comments there. I would love to dig into it more because, as you say, it's shaping up to be a real battleground stock. And it's always interesting here when both sides make really good arguments. I think it's either going to be a bargain of the century here or something that's going to be very fascinating to watch.